She believed love was enough. She believed patience would change everything. But she didn't know that the people who raised her would become the reason her heart was destroyed. This is not just a love story. It is a story of choice, pressure, and lifelong regret. Zara grew up in a quiet but respected neighborhood in Enugu. Her father was a man whose name opened doors, and her mother carried herself with the dignity of a woman who never struggled. From childhood, Zara was taught two things: obedience and reputation. Her future had already been written for her long before she understood what love meant. To her parents, marriage was not about affection. It was about status, security, and family pride. Love was considered a distraction, something for people who could afford to fail. Zara accepted this life without question, until one rainy evening changed everything. Her car broke down on a lonely road as thunder rolled across the sky. She sat inside, frightened and unsure of what to do, when a young man approached. He was dressed simply, his hands stained with oil, his voice calm. His name was Kunle. Without demanding anything, he fixed the problem and refused extra payment. Something about his humility stayed with her. Days later, Zara returned to that road, not because her car failed again, but because her heart was curious. They talked, then laughed, then shared stories. Kunle spoke of struggle, of hard work, and of dreams that felt too big for his present reality. Zara listened, not with pity, but with admiration. Their friendship grew quietly into something deeper. They met in hidden places, quiet streets, small parks, corners of the city where nobody knew them. Kunle never promised wealth. He promised effort. He promised growth. He promised loyalty. And Zara believed him. For the first time, she felt chosen not for her family name, but for who she truly was. With Kunle, she laughed freely. She dreamed boldly. She imagined a life built on partnership rather than pressure. But love kept in secrecy rarely survives forever. One evening, Zara's father noticed the changes, the smiles, the late returns, the silence at dinner. Suspicion grew into investigation, and investigation led to discovery. What he saw shattered his pride. His daughter, holding hands with a poor man. That night, the house felt colder than ever. Zara was called into the sitting room. Her father's voice was sharp with disappointment. Her mother's eyes were wet with fear. Not fear for her happiness, but fear of disgrace. They questioned her, accused her, judged her. Kunle was described as a mistake, a shame, a threat to everything the family had built. Then came the final words, heavy and terrifying. If you choose this boy, you choose life without us. Zara felt the ground beneath her shake. Love stood on one side, family stood on the other. And for the first time in her life, obedience demanded a terrible sacrifice. The days that followed were filled with pressure Zara had never known. Her phone was taken, her movements were monitored. Visitors filled the house, each carrying advice that sounded more like warnings. They spoke of tradition, they spoke of reputation, they spoke of what people would say. No one asked what she felt. Zara tried to resist. She cried herself to sleep. She argued. She begged her parents to give Kunle time. She reminded them that love could grow into success. But fear is powerful when it is fed daily. Slowly, her strength faded. Isolation weakened her courage. Obedience wrapped itself around her heart like chains. Then, the other man was introduced. He was wealthy, influential, emotionless, a man her parents approved instantly. Zara refused at first, but the wedding plans moved forward without her consent. She learnt a painful truth. Sometimes, silence is taken as agreement. The wedding day arrived like a storm she could not escape. The music was loud, the smiles were many, the happiness was false. As Zara stepped out of the house, dressed in beauty she did not feel, she saw Kunle standing across the road. His eyes held no anger, only heartbreak. He didn't speak, he didn't beg. He simply watched the woman he loved walk into a life she did not choose. And then he turned away. Marriage brought comfort, but not warmth. Luxury, but not peace. Her husband provided everything except affection. Respect existed, but love never came. At night, Zara lay awake, surrounded by wealth, yet drowning in emptiness. Years passed. One afternoon, she heard Kunle's name again. He had traveled, he had worked tirelessly, he had built a life from nothing. He had married someone who believed in him. That night, Zara sat alone in her large house, holding a truth too heavy to escape. She had obeyed, she had been safe, and she had lost the only love that ever felt real. Sometimes, the cost of pleasing everyone else is living forever with yourself and your regret. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the story. Please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. God bless you.